Hi, this is Wishop, and I'm here with a sort of an unusual divination reading for the new moon, which is also the solar eclipse of July 2nd. It'll take place a little after 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and it means it's a regular new moon, the new moon in Cancer and the sun at 10 degrees, but it's also aligning with the nodes such that we're having a solar eclipse. It won't be visible in the US at least. I believe it's visible out in the Pacific Ocean mostly, so there will not be a lot of people to be able to witness it, but it's happening, and it brings a lot of exciting change-filled energy that can carry you through 6 months. 3 months, 6 months, but it's a longer term sort of thing. So we look forward to eclipse season. Sometimes people dread eclipse season. The way I feel about it this time, there's a lot of action, meaning that Saturn, which is aligned with the South Node, all of a sudden I'm totally blanking if it's South Node or North Node, but basically in opposition to the moon and the sun is Saturn at the same degrees across the zodiac wheel in Capricorn. So they're basically in tension with each other, but also providing a spectrum of action. And also at that same kind of tender 17-degree mark is Neptune in Pisces and Jupiter in Sagittarius. They're both near that degree marker, so they're exerting their own angles of tension, support, and undermining. So there's a lot going on, and I don't really have time to talk about it all here, and if you're really interested, you probably already know. So, and that's not really to shortcut it, but what I am saying is that I think there's some butterflies coming out of the cocoon moments going on right now, but it's almost like we're thinking past the cocoon. It's like the breakthrough is going to be so clear when it happens that it's going to be that sense of, finally, I've been trying to break through. Okay, good. Now on to the next thing. So when we imagine in our minds, often it's this moment of breakthrough, and the breakthrough is what it's all about. But really, at this point, I think as a butterfly, you've already made lists of things you want to do as a butterfly. So the cocoon just becomes one tiny little, something you got to step over on your way to what you're doing. So that thing which looked like a huge obstacle is now the size of an anthill. And it's kind of funny the way that happens, because you uncover this obstacle and you go, wow, it just doesn't matter anymore. That used to matter in every way. That used to be holding me back, and now I don't even care. So it's a strange way that happens, but long about the time you just don't care anymore, that thing is about ready to get out of your way because it's irrelevant. So anyway, I thought I would do this interesting dice divination as something, special from this book, the complete illustrated book of psychic sciences. This is a gift that a friend gave to me, a used book. Let me see if I can get this in focus. I don't know if it is. Anyway, this is from 1966, and it's kind of interesting because it's got a collection of different ideas or methods. So there's astrology, there's cartomancy, palmistry, dream interpretation, phrenology, numerology. The couple that wrote this, the gentleman had written a lot about magic. So this is written in a slightly scientific, but don't take it too seriously tone, make it entertaining, which is interesting because for some of this stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, that actually works. But anyway, they've got this really good section. I wish this were in the public domain. I would just share the whole thing with you. But it's called Dice Divination, or Fortune Telling by Dice. And you could use a pencil to pick one of these combinations. But the better way, or I think the more fun way, is we're going to roll dice. So they have a list of questions, which you can see 30 questions that cover all sorts of different areas of life. And then they have each combination of dice. So there are like 20 pages of all the combinations of dice, and you match up the question and your answer. So I chose 4 questions from this list. The question is number 1. In what field does my future success lie? And we've got the little green gingerbread man. 2, or ginger kid, we've got shall I be happy in love? Red ginger kid. We've got 17, shall I meet with many adventures? Yellow ginger kid. And 25, what precept now applies particularly to me? So I thought I'd do it as a game board just because it makes it easier to roll the dice. And also, I kind of like Candyland. There's something sort of mystical about it. I know that might be strange to say, but it was invented as a game to entertain kids with polio back in the 40s by, I believe, a former teacher. And she was worried that the kids on the polio ward who were trying to recover were so bored. And so she created this game. So when people complain that, oh my gosh, when you have to go back to Plumpy, the game takes forever, that was the point. It was supposed to be hours of diversion for kids who were otherwise quarantined or might be immobile because of their illnesses. And the game took off like crazy. Someday, perhaps I will tell you about my adventures doing Ouija board readings for the different characters on this board and the character who is not on this board, the hidden sister of Grandma Nut, Grandma Gooey, who is sort of like Nephthys to Isis, or Nephtet to Osset, as you might say, the hidden sister, the dark sister of the temple. Anyway, it's funny and strange, but that's how I roll. So anyway, let's roll the dice. So pick one or pick them all. What field shall I find success? Shall I be happy in love? What is it? The phrasing here? Shall I meet with many adventures? And 25, this is a good one just for right now. What precept, meaning what sort of common words of advice would apply to me right now? Okay, so let's see where we're at. Number 1. We get a 1 and a 4. The answer is, shall I meet with success, travel, and new lines of work? So I think that says, or it says, in what field shall I find success? And so the answer is travel and new lines of work. So we have the idea of moving a field if you need to, but also finding a whole new gig, which makes sense to me. I think that's what a lot of people are doing. But let's go to number 2. Shall I be happy in love? Number 2, little red ginger kids. Okay, we've got a 4 and a 5. There it is. Number 2, if you do not expect too much. So this is kind of funny because shall I be happy in love? You have the ability to be content if you're not putting too many expectations on the other person. Actually, right now, I believe this is a time of intense self-development. So expecting someone else to even completely understand, you know, if the caterpillar in the cocoon had a partner, you know, another caterpillar, is there a chance that other caterpillar could really understand the vision of the butterfly? Maybe not. So the idea is you can be happy in love, but you might have to let other people be who they are too, as you're straining so hard to be who you are. And that can be tough because we get focused on our own journey and then we're like, why don't people understand us? But the fact is they're all in the middle of their journeys too, and so they also crave understanding. That can be tough. I mean, no question, but that's what I see for shall I be happy in love? If you do not expect too much, that I don't believe, just to say it, means you should put up with bad behavior or lack of respect for yourself, or for you, lack of respect for your right to follow your own passions, pursuits, your own beliefs. But that's kind of not how I felt as I was reading this answer. So anyway, you take it for what it's worth and decide what you want to do with it or nothing. So 17, shall I have adventures? Yes, shall I meet with many adventures? Okay, let's see what we get for the yellow ginger kid. Ooh, 6, 6. Okay, 17 says, not if you search for them, they will come to you. So this again to me is kind of interesting, because I put the adventures over here by Lord Licorice and the Peppermint Forest and the Gumdrop Pass, just because I thought those are, and sort of not too far from Plumpy, those are can be challenging places to get through. But the idea is right now it is a magical time, and it's a good idea. I don't mean to be passive, but to become magnetic to the things that you want and the things that you enjoy. And it might be easy to say, oh yes, become magnetic to them, but just contemplate them, think about them, hold them fondly in your heart, and just see what that internal tuning brings your way, because it is a time, eclipses are times of surprises, of the unexpected miracle. And so the adventures you have are likely not going to be, even though you could find success in travel and a new line of work, the adventures, the really exciting adventures, are going to be ones you didn't plan. And so Mercury will go retrograde on July 7th. So again, it's going to be a situation where flexibility is going to help get you through, like flexibility, and try to have a good attitude. Try to plan, check, and double check things. I'm already feeling some Mercury retrograde action. So try to just be careful about the things that really matter, and not to spend too much time hung up on the things that don't, because they're probably going to change, but it could be in really serendipitous, miraculous, exciting ways. Back to the caterpillar again. There is a caterpillar out there who doesn't even know they're changing into a butterfly until they pop out of the cocoon and go, hey, look at this. So that could be you. You don't even realize you're doing it until you're already doing it. So the last one is, what precept now applies particularly to me? So what advice applies right now to me? I use these Post-its, and they're kind of old, and you can see they're like totally peeling up. I think I might just give myself permission to get rid of Post-its that don't post anymore. Anyway, what precept or advice applies now particularly to me? Okay, 4 and 3. Number 25 says, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Okay, so that usually means that the thing you're going to go out and hunt for is worth less at this moment than the thing you already have. What I really like about this is the way it dovetails with these other messages, saying not that you should not expect change, but that change is going to be so unexpected, you are not going to be able to predict it. So don't go hunting for what you think the miracle is. Let the true miracle, the true excitement, the true transformation find its way to you, because that's the way the sort of divine blessings are going to flow, I think. So anyway, that's it for now. Hope you liked it, and I will talk to you next time. Rock on with your bad selves.